For a lot of people in America today, earning a good salary was supposed to mean something. Maybe you remember the moment you first crossed that income milestone. $70,000, $90,000, maybe even six figures. It felt like a turning point. Like finally, life would get a little easier, less stress, more breathing room. But somehow, that's not what happened. Instead, the bills kept stacking up. Rent or mortgage feels heavier than ever. Groceries cost more every month. Insurance, utilities, car payments. They all seem to quietly take their share before you even notice. And by the time the month ends, you're left staring at your bank account wondering one uncomfortable question. If I'm making good money, why does it still feel tight? You're not alone. Millions of hardworking Americans between 35 and 55 are experiencing the exact same thing. And the surprising part? In many cases, it's not because they're doing anything wrong. There are deeper forces at play, hidden pressures, silent expenses, and psychological traps that quietly drain the power of a good salary. By the end of this video, you're going to see exactly what they are. Let's start with real numbers, because this is where it gets uncomfortable fast. Take a household earning $95,000 a year, solidly above the national median. After taxes, that's roughly $72,000 landing in the bank. Subtract an average mortgage or rent payment, and you're already down to $42,000. Subtract health insurance, car payments, and basic utilities, and you're under $25,000 for everything else. Groceries, childcare, gas, every unexpected expense the year throws at you. A salary that sounds comfortable on paper is stretched across every category of life with almost nothing left over. And here's the part that makes it feel personal instead of just statistical. 10 or 15 years ago, earning $70,000 or $80,000 a year felt like real progress. It meant stability. Today, that same income doesn't stretch nearly as far. Housing costs have climbed, healthcare premiums keep rising. So while your paycheck is technically higher than it was years ago, its real purchasing power has quietly eroded, and it happened so gradually that it feels like something is wrong with you, when really, the ground shifted under everyone. If you're in your late 30s, 40s, or early 50s, there's another layer stacking on top of this. Many people in this age range are supporting children who are getting more expensive by the year. Activities, technology, eventually college. At the same time, some are starting to support aging parents. Economists actually have a name for this: the sandwich generation. Squeezed from both directions, even with a solid salary. Now here's the example that explains why a raise doesn't fix any of this. Picture a 41-year-old project manager who gets promoted from $78,000 to $98,000 a year, a $20,000 raise. It feels like a huge win. Within a few months, she moves to a slightly nicer apartment, $300 more a month. Her older car gets traded in for something newer, another $280 a month in payments. A few subscriptions get added back. Weekend dinners out become more frequent. None of these decisions feel irresponsible. They feel deserved. But within about a year, that entire $20,000 raise has been quietly absorbed, and she's back to feeling exactly as financially stretched as before the promotion, just at a higher number. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it operates almost entirely below conscious awareness. Nobody sits down and decides, I'm going to spend every extra dollar. Expenses just quietly expand to match income. There's a second force working against you too, and it's social. Every day, social media shows you other families traveling, upgrading homes, celebrating milestones. Even knowing it's a highlight reel, the emotional pull is real. It creates pressure to keep up. And that creates a strange contradiction. Objectively, you're doing well, but emotionally, you feel like you're falling behind. And then there's the quietest leak of all: invisible spending. A household with even 8 or 9 small recurring subscriptions, streaming, cloud storage, a meal kit, a few apps, can easily be paying $150 to $200 a month without ever deciding to spend that much. Over a year, That's $2,000 or more, gone before it was ever really noticed. Add in debt, student loans, car financing, credit cards, and a significant chunk of every paycheck is already spoken for before you even see it. What makes all of this emotionally hard is that the people experiencing it did everything they were told to do. They went to school, built careers, made what looked like smart decisions. The financial reality just didn't match the promise. And that gap between what you were promised and what you're living is where the frustration lives. So, where does control actually come back? The most important concept here is something financial planners call margin, the space between what you earn and what you spend. Most households earning solid incomes live with almost no margin at all. Every dollar is already assigned before it arrives. And when there's no margin, even a small surprise, a car repair, a medical bill, instantly creates stress. But when you intentionally create even a small margin, something shifts psychologically. The background anxiety softens. You start making decisions instead of just reacting. One of the fastest ways to build margin is hunting down what experts call money leaks, recurring digital services, and convenience spending that quietly drain hundreds of dollars without delivering real value. None of these look dramatic individually. $10 here, $20 there. But running simultaneously, month after month, they absorb money that could be building savings instead. Convenience spending deserves its own mention. Takeout after a long day, grocery delivery, faster shipping. None of it is wrong in isolation. But when convenience becomes the automatic answer to every busy moment, it quietly becomes a permanent drain. Debt is the next lever, and it might be the most powerful one. High-interest credit card debt compounds relentlessly, turning manageable balances into long-term financial weight. For someone earning a good income, aggressively paying down high-interest debt often creates a stronger sense of freedom than getting another raise, because it permanently increases your margin. Every dollar that was going to interest becomes available for something else. Then there's intentional spending, not extreme budgeting, just clarity. Deciding ahead of time what actually matters, so it's easier to say no to what doesn't. Mindset plays a bigger role here than most people expect. Society sends a constant message that success should look a certain way, a certain house, a certain car, visible signs of moving upward. But the people who actually build long-term financial stability often do something different. They get comfortable living slightly below what they could technically afford. From the outside, their life might look modest. Internally, they have something most people don't: financial calm. A simple monthly habit makes a measurable difference too. One quiet hour reviewing where your money actually went last month. No spreadsheets required, just observation. People who do this consistently start making small adjustments almost automatically, and even modest, consistent investing changes the emotional relationship you have with money. Instead of everything only flowing out, some of it starts quietly working in the background, building something, even during months when expenses feel heavy. Finally, for anyone in the 35 to 55 range specifically, an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses acts like a shock absorber. Instead of every surprise triggering panic, it gets quietly absorbed. None of these shifts are dramatic on their own, but together, they reshape the entire financial experience. And here's what's genuinely empowering about that. Financial peace isn't reserved for people earning extraordinary incomes. It often starts with ordinary incomes managed with a little more clarity and patience. If there's one thing I hope you take from this, it's this. Feeling financially stretched, even with a good salary, does not mean you've done something wrong. It doesn't mean you're irresponsible. And it definitely doesn't mean you're the only one. Millions of hardworking people across the United States are quietly dealing with the exact same pressure right now. On paper, life looks stable. Behind the scenes, the math has just gotten more complicated than most of us were ever taught to navigate. But financial peace rarely comes from one giant breakthrough. It grows from small moments of awareness. noticing where money is quietly slipping away, creating a little breathing room, stepping off the pressure to look successful, and focusing instead on actually building stability. Now, I'd genuinely love to hear from you. What's one everyday expense that seems small but somehow keeps draining more money than you expected? Subscriptions? Convenience spending? Something else entirely? Tell me in the comments. Your answer might be exactly what someone else needed to read today. And if this video helped you see your financial life a little more clearly, subscribe to Quiet Wealth. Because here, we're not chasing flashy promises or overnight success. We're building something quieter, steadier, and far more powerful, real financial understanding that lasts.